Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Got another 2025 running back rookie show here for you today. I'm going to be joined by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host, and we are going to discuss day 3 running backs. All right, we're going to each discuss 3 running backs that we are going to target in our upcoming rookie drafts that get day 3 draft capital. Okay, did a little research before we get started on the show, and it isn't pretty, everybody. Day 3 running backs typically do not hit our dynasty rosters. I know we get excited. It's a deep running back class in 2025. There's going to be 20-25 backs that hit our dynasty rosters. I don't think so. It might be a little more than normal this year because it is a deep class, but draft capital matters for running backs, everybody. I did some research. Look on the screen here. These are the last 5-year day 3 running backs that I consider consistent dynasty assets. All right, guys that we've used, in our starting lineups as well as flex players, and it isn't pretty. All right, 2024, Bucky Irving got 4th round draft capital. I mentioned in the show here that you're going to watch shortly. Thought maybe he was a late day 2 guy, but he was an early day 3 selection. Tyrone Tracy, 5th round. I think he gets a partner in crime in the backfield this year, so he'd be a sell high opportunity for me. Chase Brown in 2023, the only day 3 running back that really is relevant right now that I believe he got 5th round draft capital. In 2022, Kyron Williams, 5th rounder. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th rounder. I think Pacheco's on his way out of Kansas City. He's not even playing in the playoffs pretty much. 2021, Chuba Hubbard, 4th round selection with he's the main guy. They just signed him to a long-term contract, and with Jonathan Brooks re-injuring his ACL, is probably going to stick around for a while. Ramondre Stevenson just signed a big deal. He was a 4th rounder. He's fumbled 6 times this year and got put on the bench, so looks like he could be a fading asset. And in 2020, nada. There ain't one running back drafted in day 3 that I consider a dynasty asset. So, all right, man. So we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about 6 players here, 6 running backs that we're excited about, but landing spot is going to be huge for these day 3 running backs. So keep that in mind. It's going to be, really dependent on where they land to get that opportunity. All right. So you might want to fade day 3 running backs in your rookie drafts and maybe lean towards wide receivers if there's a receiver on the board that you like. So hit that subscribe button, everybody. If this is your first time here on the channel, welcome. If you are a long-term, subscriber and watcher, welcome back. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. Help me get there. It doesn't cost you a thing to hit that subscribe button. And if you want access to all 22 film cut-ups and you want just not my rookie ranks for the 2025 class, but 2026 and 2027, I don't know of any websites out there that have rookie ranks for the next 2 seasons to give you an early look at the future, which is what this website or this YouTube channel is all about. Let's not waste any more time. Enjoy the show. All right, well, let's have some fun with this, man. Let's talk about our day 3 running back sleepers that we'd like, guys that we think are day 3, meaning it's rounds 4 through 7. I'm going to let you kick us off. So we're going to each talk about 3 running backs here that we think, might make some noise. Last year we had some, not really a lot of players in day 3 kind of hit our rosters last year. I don't think Bucky Irving was a day 3 guy. I could be wrong, but it was a bad class last year. But in the past it's happened. So we've got these guys if they can carve out a role. So let's see. Let's talk about 3 guys each, 3 running backs that we're pretty excited about, maybe that we think have hope anyway for can hit our dynasty roster. So you got first.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a converted wide receiver, and that's going to be running back Rashard Smith out of SMU. Started at Miami as a wide receiver, converted over to running back. And this year with SMU, he was just absolutely dominant as a versatile weapon. Had 41 receptions, 337 yards as a receiver, and 1,326 yards as a runner with 14 touchdowns. So this is a kid, that fits today's NFL, what NFL teams are looking for. They love that versatility. They want a pass catching weapon. What better than a converted wide receiver that knows exactly how to run routes and shows that he can be a pretty solid runner at the same exact time? Give me Rashard Smith as that versatile weapon going into the NFL draft.
Yeah, I did a film breakdown on the channel on him, and he's an explosive player. A lot of people comparing him to like a Tyrone Tracy type, converted wide receiver.
Yeah,
who,
exactly.
Might get some run, a little undersized, but man, explosive. Yeah. And NFL loves their explosive players. The first guy I want to talk about is DJ Giddens. Now he's recently been getting some hype. I wanted to kind of break into his film, so I watched his all 22 film on Oklahoma State, Texas, and Kansas. He's 6'1", 212 pounds. All right. So he's got a little bigger of a frame. I think, so here's kind of my rough scouting report, from, watching him in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I think he's a shifty space mover. He's got good lateral movement. There's a lot of buzz out there that he can make guys miss in phone booths. I'm not sure I see that, but he's got really good contact balance. He's a really good receiver. And I could kind of see he kind of a comp when watching him, and his play style, his frame, and his ability was Rashad White. He's kind of the guy that I kind of earmarked as a player with a similar skill set. The thing that I was a little concerned about him coming out, he runs with a little inconsistent pad level. He's not going to move a lot of piles as heavy, with that frame. But I think the guy's got some acceleration. I think his vision is decent. And his ability in the second level, I think, to navigate and make guys miss. He had a lot of good break off runs in here. If he can get through that line of scrimmage, I think he could do some damage. He's not going to be a burner by any means, but he does show that good lateral movement. And I think he's going to be a good complementary piece for an NFL. So I've got like a grade on him of like around 4 or 5. I mean, he is not going to come in and lead an NFL backfield. I don't think any of these players that we're talking about tonight on this episode is going to be, a guy that's going to come in and get a lot of usage and run. But as far as a play style, I kind of saw a Rashad White type player and somebody who can win out of the backfield as well as receiving. Yeah. So I think he's going to get round 4 capital, and let's see if he lands in a good spot and could, get on the field and be, at least a dynasty flex player for us next year.
Yeah, he's going to definitely be an interesting prospect to evaluate during this process. So I think that's a good call. I'm going to go over to Syracuse, and I'm going to talk about running back LaQuan Allen, who honestly, when I popped on the film, I came away a little bit more impressed with than I originally thought I would. Showed some athletic upside, shows some, physical nature to his game. I saw him run right up the middle between the trenches with good pad level, hurdle the defender, and ran it in for a touchdown. So I was like, okay, there's something here to this kid. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, has 26 touchdowns on the ground in his 3 years at Syracuse, and definitely an underrated pass catcher. He had 64 receptions for 529 yards this season. That's not something we should be overlooking. Listed at 6 foot, just around 200 pounds. So he's got that mark right there that we kind of look for as far as that benchmark in size. So LaQuan Allen could be, a bit of a surprise when it comes to maybe where he lands and getting opportunity. Again, I came away a lot more impressed than I thought I would. So this kid is one that we should probably be looking into a little bit further.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to his rookie scouting report as we march to the draft. We're doing 3 a week now, something like that. So I'm sure we'll get. I think I have a film on the YouTube channel too on him. He had a couple really good productive games this past season.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
So the second player I want to talk about, second running back, who I think is going to get day 3 draft capital. Now there's people here who might think he's going to get into day 2, but I don't think so. Is R.J. Harvey, 5'9", 208-pound running back. Man, this guy is just an explosive, fun player to watch. I got a couple PFF stats here. He has the 5th best PFF grade out of the top 25 running backs headed to the draft. The 3rd most missed tackles forced out of the top 25 running backs headed to the draft, and 2nd in explosive plays of 10 plus plays. So you turn on the tape with this kid. What are you going to see? You're going to see a guy who has good lateral movement. He, bounced some stuff outside, whether that's right or wrong, a little maybe too much, man. But I think he can navigate the trenches. I think he's physical as well. But he is a good lateral mover, making guys miss. I like how he presses the line of scrimmage. It can bounce either left or right and really get around the edge and get some explosive plays. Really good agility. I think he's an explosive home run threat. I mean, he's not going to be a burner who's going to take it to the house and not get caught from behind. But he is just shifty, good contact balance, pass catcher as well. I mean, he's got a lot of good traits, and he's similar to the size of a Bucky Irving, right? I mean, Bucky Irving, after the combine last year, again, he bombed at the 40 and everyone wrote him off, and he was just barely over 200 pounds. And, here he is, probably the RB1 of the 2024 draft class of running backs last year. So, the only knock on this kid is he's a little undersized at 5'9", 208 pounds. He's got the girth and the physicality to do that. So I don't think he's going to be a daily player, but I think he could be a great, exciting option in a backfield. He is going to be 24 when he enters the draft, so he's going to be on the older side. But again, as a day 3 guy who's going to be a complimentary piece to a backfield, I'm pretty excited about R.J. Harvey. He's going to be a guy I'm going to hopefully get a couple shares of in my leagues.
Yeah, he's an exciting player. I know Michael Anthony, who I talked to a lot, is really high in this kid too. So excited to watch him a little bit further. I'm gonna go over to Virginia Tech, and I'm gonna talk about running back Basel Tuton. And this is a kid who's 4-year career, has 2 1,000-yard seasons in that career, had 1,000 yards this past year. And he honestly, this is probably not going to put a good taste in people's mouths. He reminds me a bit of Israel Banakanda, but I say that because he's got the speed, that the agility, more of a straight line type guy, like a big time playmaker. I think there's good vision there, but I am concerned about the functional strength. He's got too many fumbles. I think 4 this year and 5 last year, so that ball security's got to pick up. But he could be a big time weapon if used correctly, and you get him out in space on counters and outside zone stretch plays, and then just a really good offensive line getting him through the middle. Just let him break off big runs. That's where he could really, contribute. So Basel Tuton, I know he's getting some buzz. I have my concerns, but I do see a role as a big time playmaker in a high powered offense.
Yeah, he's a guy I have to get eyes on. I have not watched any of his film at all. So
yeah, he's got some good film, but when you're trying to figure out how it's going to translate, it gets a little complicated.
Yeah. So, all right. The third guy I want to talk about, I'm going to continue pounding the table because there isn't one analyst out there who's ever talked about this guy. Damen Martinez is still the forgotten big running back of the class. And he's obviously a day 3 guy because there's no draft buzz on this dude at all coming from Miami. He's a true junior who declared 6 foot, 232 pounds. These bigger bruising running backs are kind of falling out of favor a little bit in the NFL, but I think this guy's got some wiggle. I think he's got some good feet. I think he's got some lateral agility. Reminds me of like a Najee Harris or a Brian Robinson Jr. type runner. And they have found roles in the NFL, fading roles, perhaps. I don't know, Najee Harris, perhaps. I mean, Brian Robinson Jr. had a nice game this past weekend. He's had a nice playoff series. Again, these both of these players, he reminds me of these players because they're both like physical, good pad level. They're going to bruise their way to yardage, but then have the ability maybe to, be a little shifty and make a guy miss here or there. So I think for a 232-pound guy, I think he's got sweet feet and lateral agility. And like I said, I know these bigger backs are out of favor right now in the NFL, and everybody else wants these smaller, quicker backs. So I still like what I see, and I'm still going to be a Damen Martinez truther. I may be the only one out there, but that's okay. I don't mind being alone. You're
not the only one.
Yeah.
I love Damen Martinez. I have him on a couple of my Devy rosters.
Yeah, and I've got a couple too, and I'm really hoping I'm not wrong on this guy. And like I said,
if people that like Braylon Allen should love Damen Martinez because he moves better than Allen and he's got the size,
right? I mean, it's the way I see it. So anyway, he's not going to be a day 2 guy. He is going to be a day 3 guy. So I had to round out this show with Damen Martinez. So there you guys got it. 6 running backs who probably are going to be day 3 guys. I know there's a lot of you who are probably going to be like, leave comments on YouTube or, send an email if you're listening on the podcast. I mean, that some of these guys might go into day 2, but I don't believe so. I think, DJ Giddens, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there giving him some love. I think
Martinez would end up earlier than any of these guys.
Well, I don't know. I look at mock drafts and Martinez, I'm scrolling down. I don't see him nowhere. So
the draft process.
It's early in the draft process. We'll see how it goes. So there you guys got, there's our 6 day 3 running backs.